Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 6 of the F123 Lancia My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the first of 2 of our home Grand Prix. We've returned to the Enzo Edino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola, of course. If you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Miami, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. And big news as we head into the weekend, Ferrari have brought us a new power unit upgrade as well there. So that should give us, Alfa Romeo and Haas, all a little bit of a boost as we head into this weekend's racing. Of course, championship-wise, well, it's Charles Leclerc and Ferrari at the top of the table there. 1 point between him and Max Verstappen. Red Bull just 5 points ahead of Ferrari. And we're now the only team that hasn't got off the starting block there. However, a 9th place finish would promote us all the way into 7th place of the championship at the moment. So, you know, we've been fighting in and around the points over the last couple of weekends. Maybe today can finally be the day where we break our duct. Let's get into it here from Imola. Well, this weekend then will mark 1/4 distance into this first championship. And, you know, safe to say, despite the fact that we still haven't had a single point on the board, honestly, I'm quite surprised with just how smoothly things have run. You know, the 110 AI have certainly had their challenges at some tracks, but definitely feel, of course, you know, we have had a fighting chance on numerous occasions as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this series heads in the future, of course. Need to make sure that we're doing things as well behind the scenes, obviously, with the facilities and things like that. But, of course, yeah, the big thing I need to be doing is making sure we're earning as many R&D as we can come race weekends. We're rounding our way then out of the final corner. Really do like coming back to Imola. Feel like it's a track that I gel at quite nicely. And we're going to get a green score to kickstart the weekend. Right, qualifying simulation run up next then. It is still very early on a Friday morning, but fingers crossed we can try and get the Delta down to where I need it. Quali sims are often the best representation in F123 about whether you're going to be on the pace or not. And with a line like that at 1, my guess is going to be no. Oh, just running slightly wide at the top of the hill. We'll see if we can get the ghost back to where we needed. No, there's just, this is the weird thing on F123 that I've moaned about so many times. The qualifying sim runs don't calculate the lack of grip on the track from a Friday. So often your times are a decent representative of what is possible on a Saturday afternoon, but the grip just isn't on the track yet to be able to match them. Well, diving in then to Q1, looks like it's going to be a nice sunny Saturday here from the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Imola, of course, often actually a track inside this game where we get a lot of rainfall, but looks like this weekend we might just get away with it here. But first run then in Q1, I've left it a few minutes so the AI can kind of all trip over each other on their first laps, and we'll wait and see as to what we can do. Quite on the maximum attack then throughout most of this lap so far. Obviously want to make sure that we've got a banker ready for my second run there, as the chicane is always so difficult to try and make sure that you get it nailed. But yeah, 2 more proper corners to go then of this lap. Of course, wave to all the people in their apartments down at the final couple of turns. But what is the time going to be then here after my first run? We're aiming for a low 16. And it is going to be a 16.1 there. Slots us into P18. A couple of tenths away, but once more we're in the ballpark. Right, final run then in Q1. And yeah, like we said, we at the moment only need a couple of tenths of a second here. Will the AI improve? Will I be able to improve as well? That is the real question. So up over the start-finish line, let's see if we can make Q2 in back-to-back weekends. Making our way down in towards the final couple of corners. We're only about a 10th up at the moment. It has been an improvement, but unless we really send it, it is not going to be enough there. As making our way through, come on, the final left-hander of the lap, nice and early on the throttle. We're going to find a bit more time. Will it be enough, though, to see us into Q2? I believe it is. It's a 1:15.8, P13. Max Verstappen then sets the pace on a 1:14.8. We were 1 second and 1,000th of a second slower than the Red Bull car then. To be honest, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Knocking Esteban Ocon out in the first runs here in Q1. And I mean, look at how tightly bunched it is what, 0.2 of a second covering Daniel Ricciardo all the way down to Yuki Tsunoda. It is all to play for here, but yeah, as we move into Q2, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance to make Q3 here, because of course you've kind of got the big four teams and Fernando Alonso. It's Stroll that is kind of the big what if. Right, well, like I said, a bit like Imola, we're only going to get, sorry, a bit like Miami even, we're only really going to get one glory run in here in Q3, but we're going to take all the risk in the world with the lap. You may as well try and send it there. I think we need a 15.4 if we want to make it into Q3. Of course, the grip might still be slowly increasing throughout Q2, but let's just send it. Oh, I did exactly what I did in free practice. May as well try and continue on the lap, see what we could have had, but yeah, first sector felt quite tidy, to be honest. Bit of a mistake there up at the top of the hill, but currently 22 thousandths of a second up on Daniel Ricciardo, and of course, because the lap's gone, I'm more than happy to send it through there. Could this have been a Q3 run here? Imola is often a track that I feel like I've got good one-lap pace around. So make our way down the hill, through the final corner. What is the time going to be on the board then? It is going to be a 1:15.3. It would have been enough. A 3.78 there, I think. That could have been it. And there we go. Had my eyes not deceived me, and had we not ran slightly wide at the top of the hill, that could have been Q3 here at Imola. But we are going to line up P16 on the grid. I know we've got a couple of small mechanical gremlins on the car as well. A bit of wear on some of the components. So we might take some grid penalties. But let's get on with it, though. We're ready for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
This race has gone by several former names. The Italian Grand Prix, the San Marino Grand Prix, and now the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. It's race day. We're at Imola. Welcome. One lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula One circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 to the left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin at turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Norris, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Bottas, Ricciardo, Gasly, Stroll, Joe, Ocon, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Richard Verschoor, Sargent, Magnussen and Firestarter. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, this is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, which means there's a lot of very important people here behind the scenes. I'd love to give them a strong result to watch today, plus a good result might make my post-race meetings a little bit easier.
Well, there we go then. Mark too worried about his own job rather than making sure that we get the results on the track. But yeah, with 2 Ferrari-powered cars with grid penalties here, perhaps Ferrari not looking so spicy heading into the weekend. 3 wins in a row, though, for Charles Leclerc. Can he make it for today? Let's do it. Emilia Romagna GP. Right, let's do this thing then. Lining up on the grid, waiting on those 5 red lights. Mighty long haul, but it is lights out and away we go there. Looks like my teammate and Nico Hulkenberg both not getting off to a particularly good start. So we make our way down in towards turn 1 though. I'm just going to let the AI sort this all out by themselves. Never really too interested in having a particularly big fight there, as we'll try and have a look around the outside of Richard through turn 1. And we will just about make it through then. So yeah, Richard Verschoor, really not a good start for our teammate there. So make our way down in towards the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. Still a lot of cars side by side on lap 1, as we'll get up the inside then of Kevin Magnussen. A little bit of contact there with Logan Sargent. Oh, you can see the Haas car. Kevin Magnussen's not exactly someone we wouldn't call brave in the world of Formula 1, would we? Just there, able to hang it around the outside. Shades of Juan Pablo Montoya all those years ago. Where is Richard trying to go down the hill? Just have to slam the door shut on that one. Careful not to pick up a warning on the exit. Of course, still only had the one track limits penalty this season. See, last weekend out at Imola, and obviously it made no difference anyway come the end of the afternoon. But Imola can be quite lethal for them as well. There's a lot of places on this track where even if you get the wheels on the white line, it really does punish you. Whereas a lot of tracks on the game tend not to. But it is Verstappen then that leads at the end of lap 1. Quite a high-speed, fast-paced lap 1 here. And as I think Alex Albon had actually got the jump on one of the McLarens up the road. He's going to lose that spot, though, I believe, back in towards turn 1. But yeah, we're only up the 1 place. Well, let's ride on board then with Alex Albon for the start of this one. Of course, had a really good job done getting the car into Q3 in Saturday. And you can see starting alongside Fernando Alonso then. One of the McLarens there really not going anywhere as we make our way down towards turn 1. Alonso want to set a hard compound tyres. So an interesting strategy by him there. And Albon, look at that, just finds an avenue down the outside. We'll have not 1, not 2, but 3 cars there. Perez will get him back on the exit there. But a Red Bull beefing it out with a Williams at the start of the GP there. Really, really good little start by Alex Albon. And just using all those years of experience to slot a car that shouldn't be running up in 8th in decent points early on. A fairly eventful start then, as you will have seen here from Imola. DRS now enabled, but yeah, it's kind of just obviously very, very early on here. Imola has to be quite a slow burn. You can't go too aggressive against the AI. It's probably one of the scariest tracks to go wheel to wheel, actually, with the AI inside F123, because they really like to squeeze you out, force you over curbs, and actually make a lot of mistakes themselves. As Kevin Magnussen, there you can see, gives me half a car's width inside the circuit, but as we make our way up the hill, will we have the speed to get past the Haas? Just about there. Got a little bit nervous, as you know, I had to turn in at some point, but you just never quite know how likely Kevin is to try and keep the nose down the inside there. Often it's actually out there of Aqua Minerale on one of your best chances to get a run on the AI, perhaps even out of this chicane as well. Not when you get the wheel spin I just did. But lap times are continuing to improve early on in the race, so clearly everyone is kind of just getting up to speed. I think it's actually Lance Stroll who's at the head of this train there. Albon still has got a little bit of breathing room there. Just look at that. It didn't even feel like a mistake. But Kevin Magnussen just gets back down the inside off of the corner. And we're now back relegated into P21. Such a, relentless challenge against these AI. There is exactly zero room for error. It's not that I can't match them. It's just that often I feel slightly quicker than, especially some of the more backmarker cars. But it just is, you make any little error and they are just there to capitalise. Can we get a run back though on Kevin Magnussen again to the outside in towards the chicane? A little bit of a nudge of the grass on the way in. Won't do me any favours. But no contact is made. We will say thank you very much. Yellow's out. One of the Mercs has gone. Lewis Hamilton out of the Grand Prix. His second mechanical failure of the year, as we're going to pick up a warning in the process. Fortunately, doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car, but yeah, what's happened to Lewis? Well, Lewis Hamilton then, of course, that mechanical failure in the season opener in Bahrain caused a lot of carnage and chaos behind him, but no safety car for the engine failure today as he makes his way up over the top of the hill. He's still getting hounded by one of those McLaren cars, but he makes his way into Aqua Minerale. I think it's just going to go pop on him. It doesn't even, there's no smoke or anything that time around. Looks like the engine has just shut off there as, Hamilton, unfortunately, just switches off and he is out of the second race of the season. More yellows. Someone else has got issues here. That is Alex Albon, and we have got a safety car this time round.
Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. Okay, I've got a brand new race strategy on your MFT if you want to go and check it out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to box it. We've got to try and capitalise on it. Team want us to go soft, but I'm going to try and go hard and see how far we can take them as everyone else into the pit lane then. But what has happened to Alex Albon here? As we've got a few cars opting to stay out on the track. But yeah, I'm hoping Richard Vershaw and Magnussen both going to dive into the pit lane as well. So looks like we're going to see potentially a lot of changing around there as a couple of cars losing out spots due to this. You can see AlphaTauri opting to stack both cars, but us being down the end of the pit lane, this might work quite nicely. Obviously, we might get a little bit held up. We had a bit of a problem there with one of the rear tyres. But yeah, we're going to be back out then in P16 then.
Attaching the right rear wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put that behind us now and get back into this race.
But yeah, the AI definitely going to be boxing again. Could we do 22 laps on a set of hards? We'll have to wait and see. Well, riding on board then with Lance Stroll just behind Alex Albon here. Mega start to the Grand Prix, but is now looking to try and defend some positions here and just gets a wobble over the curbing through the chicane there, and he has got the horrible situation of having to watch every single car pour past him here. Luckily, he's going to get a safety car in this, so he doesn't drop miles behind the rear of the field, but Albon, after looking set for some potential points here early on, is now at the back of the field. You're going to have to try and get some heat into these tyres, though, ready for the restart. I'm just, not sure whether these tyres are going to be able to go the distance, but I think we've kind of got to gamble it here because we just cannot try and carve our way past the AI. Looks like neither of the Aston Martins has opted to box at the front of the field, so it is going to be Fernando Alonso leading the way here out of the final corner, and of course everyone on cold tyres, but ours much harder than basically anyone else's around us here. So these next 2 or 3 laps are going to be absolutely critical here, as here comes Yuki Tsunoda already. Have to keep draining battery back down in towards turn 1. The AlphaTauri driver there still tries to have a look down the inside, but we hold firm and we hang on to the place for now. And yeah, Stroll already, you can just see as we make our way down into Aqua Minerale there, really slowing everyone up. So this works beautifully for me. It also works beautifully for the top 3 there. I believe it's Bottas, Alonso, and Pierre Gasly that are still at the front of the field. But yeah, Stroll is really struggling. He's got a lot of fast cars hounding him. I think as soon as the DRS comes back online, he is going to get absolutely swamped here. But yeah, by the end of the first lap, we're still nicely nestled in the DRS of Hulk. Stroll, though, we can see he's going side by side in towards Tosa, so you just got to be so careful of the AI Constantina. And up there, as can we get a switch on Nico Hulkenberg up the hill. Tiny little bit of wheel bang in there, as he really did try to squeeze me. Yeah, we're going to try and capitalise if we can here off this restart. As we look at this up in front, he's looking very frantic. There is every opportunity at the moment to try and gain some freebies. Again, you can just see into the hairpin, the AI so slow there, and we're able to find an avenue down back around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo once again. Can we go around him at the top of the hill? Oh, a little bit of contact. I think he wanted to drift out and I wanted to keep him tightly through. And we're up another one then, up into P14. And Stroll, to be fair to him, is fighting every single place here at the moment, and it has allowed his teammate Fernando Alonso to build up a little bit of a margin. I think Verstappen, though, has got himself back into P2. Yeah, now the DRS has been re-enabled, though Stroll, I'm sure, is just going to lose more and more places here, as just see everyone senses an opportunity to try and gain some freebies and all of this, especially for the front-running cars here. Stroll, though, yeah, this option not to box really has not worked out well for Ferrari. Sorry, for Aston Martin even. Very much, yeah, F123, if there's a safety car, it's pretty much always worth boxing, to be completely honest, on this game, unless in some very rare circumstances, all depending on your tyres there, as Carlos Sainz now completes a move. So yeah, Sir Lance, basically back to where he was before the safety car came out. It has not worked out well for the Aston Martin, but, you know, if he's only got to make one more stop, then he's still really in a net battle with these cars around the outside of Zhou Guanyu. Well, thank you very much. We will have a nice little extra one there as well. No Norris, that way at the final corner. Now we'll also be looking for a move on the Canadian. Zhou Guanyu going to be trying to come back at me as well. Esteban Ocon there just waiting in the wings. Potentially trying to seize a chance that might come his way. Around the outside, he will go there as well. We tried to follow him by. That's why Lance Stroll couldn't pit. He was never going to try and go to the end on these tyres. And we will get right around the outside there, using the gravel on the exit, but the FIA clearly don't feel like gaining an advantage. there we go. Another car into the pit lane. Valtteri Bottas the first to blink then of the drivers that didn't box under safety cars. So he's going to be trying to go to the end of the afternoon. And that should give us a really good idea of how much time we can afford to lose later on today. I'm just trying to actually stay in the range of Ocon. As, yeah, some free DRS for a few laps. I will absolutely take. And Bottas now finally heading out of the pit lane. So we've got a good 20-25 second margin over the Flying Finn here. If we can get these tyres to the end, we're looking in a pretty good position. There we go. Esteban Ocon now. Sorry, Pierre Gasly even into the pit lane. So we're going to be into the top 10. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, into the top 10 for the first time today. Well, I'm hoping, to be honest, looking at things, that we can try and stay here after a couple of near misses. I know by saying this I'm going to jinx myself. But his points here at Imola finally going to be possible. There we go. Race leader Fernando Alonso into the pits, as well as Perez, actually. So, few cars now. Well, I'm certainly not. But yeah, but now this is where we're getting to the stage where a few more of the soft compound runners are going to be back into the pits. So, very, very quickly here, we're going to be looking in our mirrors. Well, look at this Ocon now, starting to struggle on his set of the soft compound tyres to the outside of the Alpine. As we make our way back down in towards turn 1, we're going to move ourselves up into the lofty heights of P4 here. I believe our top 3 are all on a set of the medium tyres. Don't know why, I forgot what word that is. But yeah, with 12 laps to go here, Fernando Alonso is still the leader of the cars that have pit. He's 17 seconds back. There we go. Top 3 into the pit lane. This is quite a historic little moment. For the first time on their return, Mark is very much ruining my moment here, but for the first time since their return to Formula 1 Lancia in over 70 years, at home, are going to be leading a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Let's savour this over the next few laps. We know it won't last forever. Alonso is running 3 seconds a lap faster than me at the moment, but can today be the day we score some points? I tell you what as well, looking on the track map and the live timing, the fact that Gasly and Piastri are P3 and P4 gives us a little bit of extra confidence as well. Yes, the top AI, you know, your Red Bulls, your Ferraris are moving through, but they're not at the front of that group. They have still got some cars to navigate here and potentially lose some time behind. I don't want to believe, yeah, there's still 10 laps to go today, but there is a real possibility of a big result here, as long as I don't bottle it. But the only thing, of course, we've still got is, you know, understandably, less than 10 laps to go, an 8-second lead here. You're still thinking about whether a win is possible at Imola. But, yeah, that man in P2, been 10 years since he last won a Formula 1 Grand Prix as well. Sure, he'd love, absolutely love, to try and claim a victory for Aston Martin. But will it be enough? Looking at the gap still, unless Alonso's tyres fall off, he is going to catch me by the end of the race here. 7 laps to go, 5 seconds the gap to Fernando Alonso. But can we cause the upset of all upsets? 6 laps to go, the gap down to 3 seconds. I've got to get my elbows out when Alonso gets here. But will his tyres hit the cliff? I'm trying to think, he'll done about 14-15 laps on him. They won't be in great shape, but neither are ours. 5 laps, 1.2 seconds to Fernando there, but look at that, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Charles Leclerc, they're all closing in on me still. We are going to have a train of cars behind us in through these final few laps. If I can keep them at bay, we're going to just have to start melting battery down in towards turn 1. But will we be able to do the upset? There's still that little bit of belief there. The tyres are starting to give up though. Be careful of those track limits still. Alonso, he's breathing down my neck through the final couple of corners. So just going to have to drain the battery back down in towards turn 1 and see if it's enough to try and keep the Aston Martin at bay. We know just how much battery and straight line speed the AI have. Down in towards turn 1, and here comes Fernando. We'll go defensive on him, but I don't think we're really going to be able to do anything there. No, we can't. Nothing against Fernando Alonso. Back down in towards turn 1, and unless I can stay within the range, it's been a valiant effort. I mean, it's a popular win, whichever way you slice it, I would imagine. But that's not going to help me out. Come on, we need to try and stay within a second. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on. We don't need big mistakes like that. Alonso, I think he's basically gone. Unless we were to let Russell by and see if he can hound the Aston Martin here. I mean, I don't think I'm going to get much say on the matter. I think George Russell is going to get by me there as tyre warning light flashes up and we'll just slot back in. No! Oh no! I'm going to go for a trip through the gravel. Got to get back on the road. Perez there's just come in and hit me as well. And suddenly it's all going wrong. I can't help but feel we were going to lose a lot of these places anyway. But just one small snag of the brakes. And we are out of the podium contention here. We are out of the fight at the top. We need to make sure that we bring home points here still. As Norris and Sainz, how many times have I seen them go side by side? Whoa! Through turn 1 today is Lando Norris there. Just going to barge me out. Gasly, 4 seconds back in the Alpine. Will we be able to hang on and score a point here? Oh, look at Verstappen breathing down my neck. We've got to try and defend every place we can at the moment. Oh, the Red Bull, though. What's he doing?
Okay,
over the
position, that's us down a place.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. How is that a warning? How is that a warning? Oh, I can't even go. I cannot. Verstappen has just gone round my outside, completely hopped over the curbing, given us nowhere to go, and as we try to rejoin the track, has taken us out. And what looked like 3 laps ago could have been a win. What looked 2 laps ago like could have been decent points is going to amount to nothing. I don't think I've ever been that robbed inside F1 23. I cannot believe that. Where are we meant to go there against the Dutchman? Cuts me off, goes round the outside, fair enough. Overshoots the corner and hops over the curbing. So we keep there on his outside and he just forces me off the road. And as we try to get back on the track on the exit, he's still over the white line, trying to make sure I get no opportunity back in. How can the Dutchman get away with that? I know he's had a rough weekend, hence by the fact he's nowhere near the podium as well. I know he must be frustrated. But that is an absolute outrage here in Imola. Fernando Alonso, though, looking like as he rounds his way onto the final lap of this Grand Prix there, he's got George Russell all over him at the front of the field. Will it be Aston Martin or will it be Mercedes getting their first race victory of the year here? I think Alonso might just about be able to do it. So Fernando Alonso, we all thought that not boxing under the safety car was going to completely screw them today, but his teammate, let's be honest, Stroll has won in this one today. As he makes his way through the final couple of corners, it is going to be Fernando Alonso who finally, after 10 years of waiting, is going to be back on the top step of a Formula 1 podium there. George Russell will hold on to P2 there. Oscar Piastri gets a podium, obviously, after the disappointment in Miami last weekend. Charles Leclerc, I believe, will extend the championship lead over Max Verstappen a little bit further back, but yeah, I can't. We've had 3 now near misses, 4 really if you include Australia, where points look possible right to the end of a Grand Prix. You know, a couple of them have been my mistake, a couple of them have just been the nature of the beast, but this one really hurts. Today the beast has been Max Verstappen, and we're going to limp home in 21st place there. That is heartbreaking.
They take the checkered flag then here in Imola in what has been another outstanding Grand Prix. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Aston Martin are really making waves in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot. Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I think it has to be Fernando Alonso. He got the strategy spot on and consistently had the pace to come through as well.
Let's move on to the constructors. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, even though we lost the victory there, I can't help but feel like, a podium could have been possible, or at least some big points there, all things considered. Just that small mistake down the bottom of the hill, obviously we lost a load of downforce, tucking in behind George Russell. And then, yeah, Max Verstappen, just doing Max Verstappen things at the end of the day. But it is Alonso that takes home the win here. George Russell P2 and Oscar Piastri, yeah, first podium for him in Formula 1 as well there. Magnificent result. Beating out Leclerc, Perez, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, with Gasly and Bottas picking up a couple of points as well there. Yeah, quite surprised. Both Ferraris and both Red Bulls unable to score a podium today. But it does mean I'm going to look at the championship. Yeah, Charles Leclerc now with a 9-point lead over Max Verstappen at the top of the table. Perez still ahead of Carlos Sainz there. Russell with his ever-consistent results hanging in P5. Now Alonso as well leapfrogs. Well, he's comfortably now in P6, sorry, ahead of Lando Norris, who's just 2 points ahead of his teammate. And Hamilton's nightmare season continues down in P9 there. We're still 18th overall in the Drivers' Championship, but another point for Alfa Romeo there means that they are back up into P7. 2 points for Alpine as well, Could still be in the battle between, from 6th downwards. But I think, yeah, we're going to need to start trying to pick up some decent points there. 1 point between Red Bull and Ferrari, though, at the top of the table, and 4 points between Aston Martin and McLaren. Basically everyone is in a decent scrap at the moment, with the exception of Mercedes there. But, yeah, easily the toughest pill we've had to swallow so far this season. But we do not give up. We will be back very, very soon. Next time out, we head to the duel in the Formula 1 crown. It'll be the Monaco Grand Prix. Boy, oh boy, do I want to score some points there. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise, and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.